Hey there, this is Steffen from OBSCURA in Tilkin, and I'm here at Hellsinki Metal Festival today. I'm doing fine. This is one of the few times we make the long way to Finland. Actually, one of the countries with most metal audience, and well, it's worldwide known for the most bands per head, but it's actually quite far for us. So I think it's the third time we ever played here, and the hospitality is absolutely awesome. The venue here, I think we play in the ice hall tonight. It's absolutely cool. You barely play in an ice hockey hall. When in Helsinki, I mean, this is a cliche, but I'm really looking forward for the show. We just started with the Brutal Assault Festival yesterday. We played in Czech Republic. It's a very well-known festival for us. Today we play over here in Helsinki. Tomorrow we have another show at Partisan Festival in Germany. And then there's Summer Breeze in Germany and Kaltenbach in Austria left. So decent shows, a lot of people, but I like festivals a lot because you just run into 1,000 people you meet.
Yeah.
Usually not anywhere, but this is some kind of like a meet and greet. It's like a happening every time. We toured like maniacs, and the album was very, very successful. And I was very surprised that we toured all over the world and had a very, very positive outcome of it. The album was a little bit more open-minded, a little bit more diverse, and I think that helped a lot, especially in the live situations. So I'm very, very satisfied how the record turned out. But touring comes to an end, and we just finished recording a new record that should be out early next year, and we entered Studio Fredman once again. So Freddie Nordström is basically our producer to go because he's just a nice guy and his sound is incredible.
That was the one in Sweden, right?
Yes, in Gothenburg.
Yeah, that's the one we talked about it last time, that it was the first time for you to record outside of Germany.
True.
So what was it that made you decide that you want to continue with that producer?
I think there's not only one reason. First of all, the sound. Yes, it turned out to be very close to what I had in mind for the sound, and I think with the second album we are getting even closer to that. The depth in field sound is incredible. The guitar sound is, well, the studio is very famous for the guitar sound. And doing something abroad also gives you a certain free mindset. And when I was flying to Gothenburg, not only for that album, but also the live record we mixed there, it's just like you leave behind all of other duties, like family duties or band stuff you usually take care of, and you're just looking into this one production. So it's really, really cool. It's basically something, you leave everything else behind. You just go to a new city, a new country as well. My Swedish is horrible, but it's just good to hang out there. It's a very positive place, and I really like to work in Sweden in general. So I went to a lot of more or less famous places. I also met a couple of people over there. I also went to concerts. It's a nice city. It's a nice environment, and I like also the attitude. Also the tiny. I mean, we are talking about Western Europe, but Sweden and Germany, there are small cultural differences, and I really like the attitude there. I felt very, very welcome. Well, it's more about getting the right mindset, because you can write whatever riffs, but they don't mean anything. There's not a story you can tell with that. So it was more about getting the right ideas on paper, and I always collect like raw ideas. I'm not talking about music. I just have like a notebook, digital these days. So I write down a couple of ideas for artworks, for graphics, for sometimes musical breaks I love, or sometimes for song ideas. What could we do? And if there's a certain collection gained, then I'm starting to write music. And this time it was I really have a hard time. I tried a couple of times, but it's not the right environment for me.
Yeah.
And I'm working in blocks, so I'm not writing a song here and then I stop making music for a month and go on tour or something. I have to start writing an album and finish it in one shot, and then it's that. It's like a glimpse of time. And I have a second band, and both are separated entirely. So I only work for this one band, doing an entire album. When this is done, I step to the next one, but I cannot write one song for this project and one for another.
Yeah, that's
It's not my way of working, and there it's sometimes problematic to find the right time to have so much freedom. And this year we did a co-headlining tour with Cynic earlier this year, which was really cool, very successful, and also on a personal level a highlight.
Yeah,
because I love the band.
You were also rolling there, right?
Yes, I helped out. That was a thing on short notice because they had a step-in guitarist who is a brilliant guitarist but didn't feel comfortable singing. And while I've been on tour and it was a co-headlining tour, of course you help out each other. And I loved every second of it. I usually pass on like session or guest appearances, and I'm not a musician to hire. But if a friend asks for help, I do whatever. For example, years ago, I even played bass for Secrets of the Moon, the black metal band, because they had a couple of festivals coming up and couldn't find anyone, so I did that. And for Cynic, it was the same.
Yeah.
But aside from that, I'm not doing any projects. The writing process was a little bit different because we gave a lot of more focus to vocals and choirs. So I found a very, very nice and, to my ears, unique way to work with the vocoder. Now the vocoder is more of a key element than before, but it's less a vocal part, but more like an orchestra tool. So we tried to shift the borders a little bit between having this classic robotic sound, but more using it as a mix between keyboard, a choir, and some kind of vocal editing. So it's really, really cool, and it opened such big dimensions for the sound. So it sounds very, very laid back and full of delay. So it's a slightly different attitude. Of course, the sound the band always had, but at the same time, it sounds spacey.
Yeah.
I think that's a nice word.
Yeah.
To put it in.
Well, that's what you want, I guess, from your band. Like it seems like a sound that would suit very, very, very well.
It suits quite well, and I really hope we found the right topics over there, and it will also transpose in a live situation. So it's less hyperspeed. We reduced the tempo slightly, and that gained a little bit more freedom for vocals, for long delay lines and all of that. So I'm very, very curious. We're about to mix the album in the end of August, and I'm flying again to Gothenburg. And just the pre-production already sounds very promising. So I'm happy with that. It's definitely not repeating ourselves, but still keeping that signature sound. So this is very interesting. I wanted to have an album that more or less represents the topic of the entire record. So I don't want to put out too many notes so far, but
people have to watch.
It's a less stressful album. It sounds a little bit peaceful, but it's hard to describe with words how peaceful death metal with blast beats could sound. But if you listen to it, I think if you listen to the first 2 or 3 songs of the album, you get the vibe very well.
Well, I guess also the peacefulness is usually in your music in the bass lines, but I guess that's you have, maybe something else.
That's the singing or the swinging fretless lines that definitely make a big difference. It gives some kind of laid back vibe to the entire music.
Yeah, well, it's not like beach vibes, but
not yet. I really love the new 2 singles Tribulation put out. That's really cool. I really love that record. What else? Lick from Sweden. That's more like an old school death metal band with nice hooks and twin guitars. I really love. And Unto Others, North American band. I think they're from California, maybe. Big sunglasses, 80s sound.
Yeah.
A little bit like Depeche Mode meets heavy metal. It's really, really cool. So it's also not very stressful music, and that might have a certain impact on my writing as well.
Yeah, it's always interesting to ask you because you seem to listen to literally everything, like in metal.
I like guitar music. Sometimes even hard music that has less or no guitars, like Portishead. All this 90s trip hop department was really, really cool. But if there's something new, I mean, just listen to it, and then you can decide if it's good or not. So if friends, like back in the days when you got a CD from a friend, you just listen to it and then you decide if it's cool or not. And these days, this is coming back a little bit with Spotify playlists, but still, you get something and some new input, you listen to it, and you discover so many bands.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's a band that existed for years, but you didn't know it, and then it's there on your table. You have to listen to it, and you figure it's amazing.
Yeah.
So still being a fan is a good thing.
Yeah, it's interesting because I don't think, like, usually when you ask questions to musicians, they're like, I don't listen to music, new music. So it's quite refreshing to hear that you're still listening to music and you're still a huge fan of what's happening.
It's just shifting.
Yeah.
Sometimes you listen to a lot of death metal, sometimes black metal, sometimes you're, depending on your private life, you want to hear something more peaceful. Sometimes it's just rock music, but it's all music. It's like life. It's in waves. Comes and goes. I mean, the album is almost done. We are going to deliver by the end of August. And right now we are planning more touring for next year and the year after. And we have a couple of nice ideas for special tours.
Yeah.
I don't want to tease too much, but there are places we never made it to before. But part of being in a touring band is the fact that you have to like traveling.
Yeah.
And we've been traveling all over Europe, all over North America. Recently we made it to Latin America. That was something we worked for, I don't know how many years, but it never worked out, and it was very interesting, and I would love to go there again. So now I'm looking for Asia, and I would also love to play in Africa. We never made it.
Is there a market for that? Like,
for me, it's less the market than exploring something new. I know in South Africa, for example, there has been a festival. Also, some friends of mine played there, like Flash Good Apocalypse and Decapitated. That was a couple of years ago. But I get so many mails or messages from people, for example, from Tunisia, from Bulgaria, from Morocco, Egypt, and all those, of course, also the city, but also the countries, that I think that would be a very, very cool thing to do.
Yeah.
This is nothing where you would earn a dime. It's more something cool. Because there's such a huge scene of people that listen to this music, and we do not have any kind of political or religious message or something. So of course you have to touch base and see what is possible. But in general, I would love to do that. That would be one big highlight for me. Well, first of all, we're looking forward to the show over here in Helsinki, and I really hope we can do more shows, not only in Finland, but in this entire area very soon again. So let's work on some tours. But so far, let's look how Hellsinki Metal Festival will turn out.